Welcome to this video. In this video, we will discuss about Indian diaspora, the origin and development of Indian diaspora, the major features of Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora is the people of Indian origin who live outside India. Indian diaspora is the most developing diasporas across the globe. It is the vast and diverse diaspora because Indian presence is almost everywhere in the world. And it is diverse because Indian diaspora is not a monolithic diaspora. It is highly diverse. It is highly different. The roots of Indian diaspora goes back to centuries, several centuries, even before the colonial rule. Another significant factor of Indian diaspora is Indian diaspora grows very fast. The Indian diaspora has grown exponentially over time. And not only that, the Indian diasporas are very significant in their contribution to the development of host countries. So let's see the origin of Indian diaspora. It goes back to the ancient times when the Indian traders, scholars, and migrants, they moved to different parts of the world. The growth of Indian diaspora is closely related to its strategic location on ancient trade routes, including Silk Road and maritime routes. This facilitated the cultural and economic exchanges. People of India migrated to Southeast Asia, East Africa, and the Middle East. Now we can see the role of indentured labor in the growth of Indian diaspora across the globe. What is indentured labor? Indentured labor means contractual labors. The labor that were sent from India on contract to work in the plantations of the erstwhile colonies across the globe. It happened especially in the colonial rule. There was large-scale migration of indentured labor from India to various European countries or various European colonies. So we have significant presence of Indian diaspora in Mauritius, in Trinidad and Tobago, in Fiji, in South Africa, and other countries. Since indentured labor is contractual labor, they were sent to these colonies to work in the plantations, especially the sugar plantations controlled by the colonial rulers, because Indian indentured labor supplied the cheapest labor to work in the plantations. So there was an extreme kind of exploitation involved in the indentured labor regime. And then came the professional migration. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a significant migration to British colonies happened in the form of professionals like doctors, lawyers, teachers, civil servants, etc. We can see a sizable Indian diaspora in countries like United Kingdom, Canada, and Singapore. Then came the post-independence migration. So the post-independence era witnessed a steady increase in the migration of Indians to various countries across the globe. And there were various reasons for this, including education, employment, family reunion, etc. We know many people from India migrated to other countries primarily for education. That still continues and sometimes a point of discussion today. Educational migration, student migration to other countries. Significant number of students from India, they migrate to other countries for education, especially to the US, Australia, UK, Germany, etc. And another migration is employment migration, because we have already we know that economic factor is behind the major factor. Economic factor is the major factor behind migration. So a significant migration across the globe happens, also in India happens due to searching for employment opportunities elsewhere. And another reason is family reunion that happens in many places. In India, immediately after independence, there were a large number of migration across the borders, especially after the partition of India. Many people migrated from India to Pakistan and reverse for family reunion. And now, in this period, the United States of America and the Gulf countries emerged as the most prominent destinations of Indian migrants. And while the US attracted professionals and highly qualified people, the GCC countries, Gulf countries, oil-producing Gulf countries attracted a diverse kind of migration. And in fact, this Gulf migration has democratized the migration process in India because, and of course in Kerala, because people from all socioeconomic backgrounds and with all levels of different skills could participate in this kind of migration. Now we can see the features of Indian diaspora. We have already seen that Indian diaspora is much diverse. Diversity is the defining character of Indian diaspora. It's incredibly diverse. They are diverse because they belong to different regions, religions, languages, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Indian diaspora is not a monolithic diasporic community because just take the example of Indians in the US. There's Malayalis in the US, Gujaratis in the US, Punjabis in the US. So the people from different regions form subgroups, sub-diaspora communities in the destination. So the people from various regions represent the Indian diaspora abroad. And languages. Different language groups are there in the Indian diaspora. So we can say Indian diaspora is divided on the lines of language, a replication of the Indian linguistic states. And religions. Different religious communities are present in Indian diasporas, major religions. And the Indian diaspora have different socio-economic backgrounds. This is much evident in the Gulf migrants. So what's the functionality of this diversity? This diversity contributes to the rich cultural heritage of the diasporas because they are truly diverse in cultural heritage. The next character is transnationalism. The Indian diaspora maintains strong ties with its homeland. The Indian diasporas maintain close relations with the homeland. And this is possible through various connections. They are engaging in social, cultural, economic, and political interactions, relationship with the homeland. Involves in the social affairs of the homeland, engages with the cultural affairs of the homeland. It contributes to the economic growth of the homeland. It engages in the political process of the homeland. And it also engages with the development of the homeland through remittances, investments, philanthropy, etc. Foreign remittances contributes significantly to India's economy. Now, the spirit of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is very important aspect of Indian diaspora because Indian diaspora is known for entrepreneurial spirit across the globe. They have the reputation to be actively engaging in economic production, especially in the host countries. There are numerous successful businessmen from the Indian diaspora communities. Many big industries are run by the Indian communities or the persons of Indian origin. Many international, multinational companies, corporates are run by the Indians. You know the examples of Google, Microsoft, and all these They're headed by the Indians. The IT hub of the US, United States of America, the Silicon Valley, is dominated by the IT professionals from India. In this way, they are contributing not just to the host economy, but even to the global economy. They also create employment opportunities both in the host countries and in the home countries. Another aspect of feature of Indian diaspora is cultural preservation. Indian diaspora plays a crucial role in preserving and promoting Indian culture across the globe. It actively engages to preserve the Indian arts, propagating Indian music, Indian dance, Indian cuisine, Indian food, introducing Indian food across the globe, and propagating yoga and other cultural tradition. And also, not just that, Indian diasporas are actively celebrating the Indian festivals abroad. So Diwali, Holi, Navaratri, etc. All these national festivals are celebrated across the major nations, across the destinations. So festivals like Diwali, Holi, and Navaratri are celebrated with great enthusiasm across the globe by the Indian diaspora. And another aspect is the exertion of soft power by the Indian diaspora. So Indian diaspora wields significant political influence, especially in the countries where they have significant size. In the US, in the UK, in Australia, and in several other places, in Canada, they have significant presence, and they can exert political influence. Diaspora members have already entered into political offices in several countries. Members of Indian diaspora or persons of Indian origin have effectively entered into political offices in many destinations, many host countries. For example, Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister, is a person of Indian origin. So a number of Indians have entered into the parliament of the host nations as members. And these people, they often advocate for the issues of interest of the Indian community. They take up the cause of Indian community. And they can even make contribution and influence India's policy, foreign policies towards the destination countries. So we have seen the origin and development of Indian diaspora and the major features of Indian diaspora.